Welcome. In this video, we will demonstrate the complete rebuild of the Viking pump GB410 series. This video will cover the steps for the GB41039 model. Before you begin, please consult the appropriate technical service manual for safety information. A copy of the latest revision can be found on our website at vikingpump.com. Tools required include impact drivers, torque wrenches, soft-headed hammer, Allen wrenches, O-ring pick, small screwdriver, snap ring pliers, hook nose spanner wrench, brake cleaner, O-ring grease, light oil, P80 assembly lubricant, anti-seize, shop towels, and a scratch pad. Included in your rebuild kit, you will find 3 driver gears, 3 driven gears, 6 bushing blocks, driver shaft, 3 driven shafts, external retaining rings, O-rings, alignment pins, drive pins, bushing block gaskets, head-end cap screws, mechanical seal, thrust bearing, seal washer, seal holder O-ring, snap rings, seal holder cap screws, and bearing end cap screws. Before you begin disassembly, place a supporting block underneath the pump. First, using a 3/4 inch socket, remove the head mounting foot. Use a 15/16 inch socket to loosen and remove the cap screws on the head end of the pump. Discard these cap screws. Remove the pump head and set aside for reassembly. Remove and discard the first bushing block and gasket. Remove and discard the first driven gear, driven shaft, driver gear, and drive pins. Remove the casing. Remove and discard the bushing block, gasket, and casing O-ring. Remove the separation plate. Remove the next bushing block, gasket, driven gear, driven shaft, drive gear, and drive pins. Remove the ported casing section. Remove and discard the next bushing block, gasket, and O-ring. Remove the final casing and separation plate. A soft-headed hammer may be needed to break the seal with the bracket. Remove and discard the next bushing block, gasket, driven gear, and driven shaft. Remove and discard the final bushing block, gasket, and drive gear. To remove the drive shaft and seal, begin by removing the outer snap ring using the snap ring pliers. Next, using a 5/32 inch Allen wrench, remove the bearing end cap screws. Set the bearing end cap aside for reassembly. Next, remove the seal holder cap screws using the same 5/32 inch Allen wrench. Now, thread 2 of the seal holder cap screws into the threaded jack bolt holes on the seal holder. Tighten the jack bolts, alternating back and forth to remove the seal and shaft. Remove the seal holder assembly from the shaft. Discard the drive shaft and seal components. Remove and discard the thrust bearing, jack screws, and O-ring. Set the seal holder aside for reassembly. Prior to reassembly, ensure the pump head, casings, separation plates, bracket, seal holder, and bearing end cap are clean and free of debris. Remove and discard any remaining O-rings or alignment pins. It is recommended to complete all sub-assemblies before starting to rebuild the pump to ensure all components are in place. Begin by applying O-ring grease to each of the bushing block gaskets and insert them into the grooves of the bushing blocks. Applying O-ring grease over the installed gaskets will help hold them in place during reassembly. Do this for all 6 bushing blocks and gaskets. Install each driven gear and drive pin onto their corresponding driven shaft and insert an external retaining ring on each side in the grooves. Apply light oil to the driven gear and shaft, then install. Do this for all 3 assemblies. Next, lubricate and install the O-rings into the O-ring grooves in each casing, each separation plate, and the pump head. Finally, lubricate and install the seal holder O-ring onto the seal holder assembly. It is now time to begin rebuilding the pump. Install the alignment pins into the head. For clockwise rotation, the grooves in the head will be closest to you, with the top of the pump on your left. Double check this orientation to ensure each pump component is oriented correctly. To aid with assembly, the pump may be built vertically. Install the first casing. Apply light oil to the bushing block and casing bores. When installing, make sure to line up the bushing block pin with the groove in the head. Next, lubricate the drive shaft with light oil and install the drive key and driver gear. Then, install the drive shaft into the top or eye-bolt side of the pump. Apply light oil and install the driven gear and shaft assembly. Install the next pair of alignment pins into the casing. Next, lubricate and install the next bushing block, ensuring that the bushing block pin is facing up, allowing for the proper installation of the separation plate. Ensure that the groove in the separation plate lines up with the bushing block pin. Install the separation plate. Install the ported casing section. Lubricate and install the next bushing block, ensuring that the pin lines up with the groove in the separation plate. Install the second drive key and driver gear onto the shaft. Lubricate with light oil. Lubricate and install the second driven gear and shaft assembly. Lubricate and install the next bushing block with the pin facing up. Install the next pair of alignment pins. Ensure that the groove in the second separation plate lines up with the bushing block pin. Install the separation plate. Install the final casing section. Lubricate and install the next bushing block with the pin facing down to align with the groove in the separation plate. Install the final drive key and driver gear onto the shaft. Lubricate with light oil. Lubricate and install the final driven gear and shaft assembly. Lubricate and install the final bushing block with the pin facing up. Install the last pair of alignment pins. Ensure the groove in the bracket aligns with the pin of the bushing block. Install the bracket. Place the pump flat to install the head cap screws. Place a block under the pump to aid with final assembly. Apply anti-seize to the cap screws and install. The head cap screw torque procedure involves 3 rounds. First, torque in a crisscross pattern to 50 foot-pounds, then 75 foot-pounds, then finally 100 foot-pounds. Reinstall the head mounting foot, torque to 75 foot-pounds. Next, using snap ring pliers, install the snap ring into the groove on the shaft. Make sure it is fully seated in the groove. Install the seal washer. Install the spring guide. Ensure the seal holder assembly is clean and free of debris. Install the stationary seal face with the lap side facing up. Apply assembly lubricant and press into place, ensuring it is fully seated. Next, lubricate the shaft and rotary seal face with assembly lubricant and place on the shaft with the spring. You can use the seal holder assembly to press it into position. Ensure that it is fully engaged with the spring. Install the seal holder assembly. Ensure that the slots on the seal holder are at the 3, 6, 9, and 12 positions. Apply anti-seize to the seal holder cap screws and install. Using snap ring pliers, install the retaining ring in the groove on the shaft. Pull out on the shaft to make sure that the snap ring is fully seated in the groove. Next, lubricate and install the thrust bearing. Make sure the text on the outer race of the bearing is facing out. Install the bearing end cap. Apply anti-seize to the bearing end cap screws and install. Next, install the final snap ring into the groove on the shaft. Pull out on the shaft to make sure that the snap ring is fully seated in the groove. Torque the seal holder and bearing end cap screws to 60 inch-pounds. Finally, turn the shaft manually to ensure the pump rotates smoothly. Because of the tight clearances, a hook nose spanner wrench may be required. Your Viking pump GB410 series pump is now ready to be put back into service. For more information, visit our website at vikingpump.com.